And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Nordic Masters 2024, day number 2. My name is Will Hall, better known on the internet as the Will Hall EXP, and I am joined by the current player of the year, the current Pro Tour champion, which is modern, I might add, Mr. Simon Nielsen. Now, we saw this Martyr control combo deck do really well earlier, but we need to see if it was a flash in the pan. Maybe they're just getting lucky each round as it goes up against one of arguably the best decks in the format, and that is Boros Energy, and we're firing off with a Osseless Pride. Turn 1.
And arguably one of the best players in the format as well. Here we have Lauge Plus, who top 8 GP Bilbao back in 2019 in Modern, has played 5 Pro Tours in a row and day 2'd all 5 of them.
That's a good feat. It's a good feat.
Incredible performance for Lauge, and he's actually mentioned him earlier when we talked about my local store for FNM. That's also where he grew up, and like that store has been quite good for producing Magic players. Iron
sharpens iron, my friend. You know what I mean? I'm looking at this deck list right now, and I'm seeing what's going to be good against these Boros decks. I see 4 One Rings, 4 Wrath of the Skies, 4 Stag Prisons, 4 Solitudes, 4 Reprieves, as well as then we go into the Martyr, being able to gain a bunch of life really quickly. We've got the brought backs as well, if we want to do that Solitude line that you spoke about. So this might be a bit of an uphill battle. Maybe this is a really good deck against Boros Energy.
Maybe. It's really hard for me to say. I have no idea so far.
You haven't tested this one in Pro Tour?
I have not.
This wasn't on the radar?
I'm looking forward to testing it.
What was Handshake doing? As if you didn't find this deck.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, we were thinking about Martyr plus Sorin, but yeah. So here we see Lauge deploy a Goblin Bombardment here on turn 2 instead of like something that provides more pressure. And I wonder if that's because his hand just doesn't have more proactive threat, or if he's trying to like play around the Wrath of the Skies coming down and like not, risk too much here.
We're just getting some value, right? It's some value if it resolves, and if a Wrath of the Sky comes down, at least we can get a little bit more chip damage in. But it's not going to resolve. We're going to see this Reprieve, kind of get the nice little tempo card. So why are we playing, why am I not playing Counterspell there? Why am I playing Reprieves in my deck?
So for this deck, it's kind of a combo deck. You try to combine Martyr of Sands with Sorin, and in order to make Martyr good, you need most of your cards to be white. So that's why we're playing Reprieve over Remand, because that is a white Counterspell. And we see Lauge here make a cat token as well off that...
the life gain for the turn of the Osseless Pride.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's just going to keep, ramping up the board until Oscar finds some way to deal with that.
I think it was round, I don't know, 8, 9... No, it was today. So maybe around 10, I was sat next to him, and they went, this first Osseless Pride is going to make 30 tokens. This one's going to make 64 tokens. This was going to make... They basically were able to Fable copy the Osseless Pride, and the copy goes, but the actual copy of the copy doesn't go, and they was like Goblin Bombardment, shoot you for 200, and they're like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. It was sick to see.
Nice. Yeah, Osseless Pride plus Fable is like kind of nuts because they start copying each other, and it just it goes fast. It goes.
I was like, this is math I'd call a judge for. Even I don't know what's gonna go on here. You need to call Frank in or something to give me the numbers.
Right, so it seems like in response to this Goblin Bombardment, there's a fetch, and is that another Reprieve? Yeah, no bombardment for you.
Just Teferi going into the graveyard there. This isn't the matchup for it.
Yeah, I definitely don't think this is the matchup for Teferi. Like, you can bounce a cat token and then die to another cat. I think the Teferis and the Reprieves are also some of the cards that I thought was like not going to be necessarily great. But, just like delaying the game is totally what Oscar wants. And he wants to make sure that he can resolve a ring safely and untap with that and like kind of take over control of the game after that.
Oscar's part that does very good unchecked. Can make it board by itself, be its own threat.
Yeah, also, interestingly, Oscar has had a Dovin's Veto in hand this whole time. And instead of just using your Dovin's Veto to counter the Goblin Bombardment, Oscar has elected to use Reprieves instead.
I like it. Also, respecting Blood Moon here. Searching up our basics. We've got 2 basic planes here. In the list, we've got 1 basic island, 4 basic planes. That's quite high for like a Jeskai control deck. It's not Jeskai's control.
Yeah, no, it's
Azorius control. Splashing, well, a little bit of black.
Yeah, it's just like a mono white deck, splashing blue, and then 2 black cards. Like it's so it makes a lot of sense to you have room for a lot of planes in this deck. And here we see the ring come down. That's exactly on plan for Oscar. These kitty cats are not going to do that much damage, but of course now Lauge is going to get to resolve that Goblin Bombardment, and that pressure on Oscar's life total could be very dangerous because there are only 3 Martyrs in the deck.
We are turning in size. If I remember correctly, that was because there is 2 Bone Crusher Giants in the main here.
Oh, yes. That could be huge for Lauge here, but it seems like he does not have it.
But it's always making them guess. You know, it is a closed decklist tournament until we get to that top 8. Then players will know what their opponent is on.
I think his hand is this Amped Rapture, Plains, Goblin Bombardment, Galvanic Discharge, and Flage.
Not the ideal cards for the situation, but they're not too bad. This might be able to hit something, though. Top card, another Oscar's Pride, which awkwardly we haven't gained life yet this turn.
Yeah, because the ring, of course, prevents the life gain. So, yeah, Lauge was hoping for something a little bit better there. Like an Ajani would be incredible here, but...
That is the City's Blessing, though.
Yeah, plays... yeah, that would be the City's Blessing. Yeah. But, of course, there are no tokens that have come into play this turn, so... And no life gain in the first place.
Once you got it, you can't lose the City's Blessing, correct?
That is true, though, yes. Yes, so we see the City's Blessing come down there, and...
It's interesting how we get these random mechanics that we've seen in the past just crop back up in like these, Horizon sets. I think a Darby Voidwalker with Shadow. We haven't seen Shadow really ever, but now we see it come back, and it's pretty relevant on that. City's Blessing, one we haven't seen since it was back in Standard. Now see that come in. That's actually relevant with Oscar's Pride because it can go so wide. Here is Wrath of the Skies, though, for 2. That's going to wipe this whole board, but now that the Goblin Bombardment's on the battlefield, we can at least turn these cats into 5 damage.
Yeah, so putting Oscar down to 9 life. I bet Lauge wish those Galvanic Discharges were Lightning Bolts, but he also has a Flage. And actually, the Flage plus... Like the Flage putting Oscar to 1 life here, he's gonna die to his ring if he's not careful.
What instant? Do we have instant speedways? I know we've got Martyr. We don't have the Sorin down.
You would have to like
Solitude our own Solitude.
Solitude your own Solitude, or maybe if Lauge goes and plays a Flage here, Oscar. Well, he can't even like kill this kill this Flage. There's not Oscar getting the life.
No, I think we might just. I mean, we also can't crack that fetch.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going down to 1 life now. Cracking the fetch doesn't work. And so Lauge played pretty well here by, instead of being like scared of the Wrath...
We've got double Solitude in hand. Double Solitude plus double white card. We've got it in hand.
Oh, Oscar Pettersson.
But we've got the Galvanic Discharge on the other side.
To stop the life game.
To stop the life game.
Wow. Okay, but maybe there's a brought back, because he's going to be able to activate the ring.
Oh my word, brought back would be so cool.
Because if he's going to gain 2 life anyway of that Solitude play, might as well activate the ring, because then, yeah, you gain 2 and lose 2, and you're still fine. Fine might be a strong word, but at least there's also Dovin's Veto to counter that Galvanic Discharge. Remember the Veto that, but that's going to get pitched here.
Into Solitude. Do we have a way to deal with this? Tap 1 mana, Galvanic Discharge. Did we have another white card? We will never know. That is going to be game 1, clutched underneath this 1 ring. Double Solitude, not going to do it. Bear in mind, it's not great when you 4-for-1 and 4-for-0ing yourself, but that is going to be enough for Boros essentially to take this one down.
Yeah, the key thing that game is on turn 4, instead of Lauge being scared of Wrath of the Skies, he just plays right into it with the Amped Raptor, hoping to hit a creature. If we said the Oslo Pride wasn't a good hit, it was the perfect hit. It was planned so that he could deal 5 damage and set up with the Flage to finish that game.
Look, I feel like this weekend it's safe to say so far that Flage is a playable card. It's not amazing. It does its job. So it's basically a 3-mana lightning elixir at this point. It's not really running away with games. It's not doing us anything crazy. We do have sideboards though, because this is a closed deck tournament. But us in the booth and you at home, we spoil you a little bit. These are the sideboards for both of these decks. Starting off on our Martyr side, what do you think we're bringing in here to show up this game number 2?
Yeah, so these Sun Cleansers are looking mighty fine and juicy. They're definitely coming in. And I actually don't think much else here, because you have like Grand Abolisher that stops, that's like against control decks. Dranith Magistrate, that's against Storm. You got Emrakul, that's against Mill, and you got White Orchid Phantom, that's against like Tron and Amulet. That is Consigned to Memory, that's against Tron and Amulet. So all these cards, they just don't really do anything except for the Sun Cleansers. But I don't think Oscar minds much, because the only bad cards he really has are these Teferis.
And Vetoes maybe? Or do you think Vetoes are good enough?
I think Vetoes are good enough. It's actually kind of interesting, that game. As I said, Oscar decided to use Reprieve rather than use a Veto, and eventually ended up actually dying to that Goblin Bombardment. So I'm suspecting that Oscar did this in order to try and hit land drops, but you might wonder if it's you're actually supposed to take that risk in order to make sure that you don't take too much damage from that Goblin Bombardment.
If we've got something like too many bad cards in our main, let's say we've got the Teferis. We wanted to cut all 4 of them. Is the mana straight good enough just to try and stop Raptor? Plus, it's also a 1/3, so it can jump in. It's an early 2-drop that stops the Oscar's Pride. It stops the, Ragavans. It stops a lot of the earlier creatures, as well as got a little bit of upside in case a Raptor comes down. It stops the Cascade ability.
Yeah, that's actually true. Like, it's kind of nice against the Raptor and just as a good blocker. I do agree. That's a good point. The 9th Magistrate could actually come in here. It also prevents Flage from being cast from the graveyard.
Ooh,
which
that's
is actually
huge,
pretty
yeah.
cute. So, yeah, that might just, like, add up to enough that the Magistrate is totally fine in this matchup.
Well, over on the other side, Boros Energy, 1 game up, 2 wins away from finding themselves in that top 8. How are we going to show up this second game? What cards do you think are bringing in?
It can't be that much. I wonder if Lauge can bring in Wear Terror, but it's to deal with the static prison, but there's no artifacts that can hit, so probably not. I think the main card that is good here is the 3rd copy of Bone Crusher Giant. That's the main difference between Lauge's list and the most common Boros Energy list, is that Lauge plays 2 main deck Giants and 1 in the sideboard, really prepared for the One Ring.
Yeah, it's interesting. We see a splattering of different decks, different sideboards. Some Boros decks are going for the Fable plan, some are going for the Bone Crusher plan, some are going for the One Ring plan in their deck. Shout out to Young Dingo having great success with the One Ring in the main. I think won another challenge last night with it. But now we're seeing, again, it's always evolving at the minute with this new modern format that we're in. We're seeing some Chain of the Rocks this weekend as well. And again, last night we saw Chain of the Rocks in the deck that he was able to win with. Just a straight up 1 mana answer to a creature that we don't have to keep paying energy in our main phase for.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like the static, the Change to the Rocks just ends up being static prison copy, like copies 5 or 6 if you play those many. So, but it's like kind of nice to be able to take advantage of the fact that you are a Boros colored deck that is interested in 1 mana interaction. And so Chain to the Rocks kind of fit perfectly. And you don't want to run interaction like Path to Exile necessarily, because if the scary cards to deal with are early drops, Chain to the Rocks fits a lot better. Like for instance, the Psychic Frog. You don't want to path that.
Yeah, no, I do. You don't want to be ramping your opponent out. All right, players, looking at the opening hands. Do we have keeps on both sides? I see a couple of lands and I see a couple of spells. Looks like we do. Starting off with Windswept Heath and passing the turn.
2 Sun Cleansers in Lauge's hand. And actually, I wonder if Lauge even knows what he's really up against. He might think it's just a regular control deck.
And that's one of the advantages, right? Closed deck this tournament.
Wait, hold on to this. Why didn't Oscar crack his fetch land on turn 1?
I'm hoping we see this brought back.
Let's bring it back. Sing it back.
Also, the extra bit of this is you crack it, get your basics, and you crack them, you get your Surveil lands as well. So like, you get so much value if that is the line this turn.
The fetch lands come into play tapped off, brought back.
Oh, man, why does it spoil my fun with the
no one
rules?
ever gets to have fun in this day and age.
Static Prison, going to go to the graveyard. Don't want that one. Drew another land for the turn. Going to slam this Aether Hub down though. Gain 1 energy, which to me means one thing. I'm smelling a raptor.
You smell like, what does this raptor smell like?
It smells like Kentucky Fried Chicken once it's been laid out for 2 days.
Okay, well that's an ill-stinking raptor here coming down. Let's see what it hits.
I don't think they're good at grooming. How about hitting a 4/3? Is that good? 6 power turn 2?
That's huge. And I see Lauge wondering if he's supposed to, but it's supposed to spend his energy on this. But absolutely, yeah, you get so much power in play, and that's would be more than Oscar could handle. Except he might have 5 mana on turn 3 here,
which might be that's good enough for a Solitude. It's good enough for Wrath of the Skies. Realistically, we don't want to be firing off this early in the game, but you got to do what you got to do.
What if Oscar has a Solitude here though? Like, get to clean up both the creatures, have a 3/2 lifelinker, and still ramp 1.
That would be sick. I would love that, in fact. So we're going to fetch up basic planes plus a Hallowed Fountain. So we will be taking 2 more life here. That's 4 dealt to us just off our lands already. Now, come on, do a cool play. Do the thing.
I mean, I'm sure this is brought back. Like, you're shocked in the Hallowed Fountain.
Oh, yes! Let's go. Solitude. Go with the Amp Raptor.
I wonder if Lauge knows what's about to happen to him.
Well, how many times has this actually happened this weekend? Brought back 2 permanents that went to our graveyard, put them back in play.
He does not know. You see how Oscar played that? He just played it like facing Lauge and said, here, you want to read this?
You don't know what this does. That doesn't trigger the Bone Crusher either, I believe. So that's going to be a little bit of life gain, but great. I'm untapping with 3 lands plus this Solitude on the battlefield, which is a threat you got to deal with because it is a life linker as well. What a sick end of play. I love it. And this is only turn for number 3 that we're going into now. A little bit of ramp, a little bit of creature. Let's go.
Yeah, and this life linker, like, that's just got above Oscar's life total. This might be a turn 3 ring even to just continue. That would be a complete nut draw.
Do you see a Blood Moon on the other side, though, here?
I do. Actually, Lauge kept in the Blood Moon. Probably, again, suspecting he's against Jeskai control.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, realistically, you don't actually know what we're playing against. I mean, it hasn't been too obvious yet. Plains is what we're going to go find. So that Blood Moon getting worse and worse by every single land drop that we see here. Now, are those sleeves red or are they bright orange? Or I feel like my eyes are deceiving me.
No, they're blue.
Get out of it, you. One ring coming down, trigger plus the extra card that we want.
Yeah, so this is exactly the nut draw you like, what's going on here? It's turn 3 and there's a ring and playing a 3/2 life linker.
Nice 2 land on the other side.
Yes,
One
exactly.
of them only taps for colorless at this point.
And we thought Lauge had a good draw with all that was going on there with the turn 3 Bone Crusher. But yeah, now this Blood Moon is looking mighty uninteresting here, actually. And I wonder if Lauge is actually still going to slam it, thinking that, oh, at least like I caught my opponent off of blue mana, not realizing that Oscar doesn't care about blue mana.
I think there's double Blood Moon in hand, which is even worse.
Even worse, yeah.
But we do have Fables in the deck, so Fables are a good way for us to be able to filter some of our bad cards out, maybe kind of restore our hand a little bit. But we've got to do it kind of quickly, especially with this one ring drawing multiple cards and a Solitude getting turned sideways every single turn.
Oh, Sun Cleanser does not work against the one ring. I have learned that now.
I was about to say, where did I see this before? I've seen this interaction before. It doesn't work the way that they want it to work because they cannot be targeted.
Yes.
So a little bit of a misstep there. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Lauge should have been watching the Pro Tour, maybe. But
we can't all watch you win all the time, okay?
And yeah, so but to be fair, the Sun Cleanser is a blocker for this Solitude here, and we got a nice 1/4 stopping a 3/2.
Would you still? I would still attack just to gain free life.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, it doesn't really stop much because the life gain is the scary part.
Yeah, that's the ideal bit of that card. Looks like we got a Martyr in hand. Actually, that pulled to the front, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think it's Martyr time yet because Oscar can wait until he has even more cards in hand.
Why give the jig up?
Yeah, exactly.
Why tell my opponent? If we go to a game 3, then maybe that's the way I'm going to win the game.
Maybe this is a black land coming though for a Sorin.
How many black sources we got? I believe it was 2, right? One untapped and 1 Surveil. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Zero basics. 2 Surveil lands overall though in the whole list. All right, your shock lands. What shocks do you use? What art?
Earliest modern frame. No, actually it's not true. I use mostly Ravnica, but actually my Stomping Grounds I have different arts because I have one from what was it, Guild Pact, the original Ravnica, Ravnica block, and I have one of those that's it is Stomping Ground that has been stomped. I played so much with that card that that's the one I tend to use. It's
been beaten up. Okay, we're going to replace our ring. Replace the protection trigger, also reset it and go another card deeper, but not attacking with that Solitude. Even you must think it's probably a free attack at that point.
Yeah, I think actually you could have safely just gone ahead and attacked there. If you just attack before you play the ring, Lauge is of course not going to risk double blocking here.
Even if they did, I would happily trade the Solitude for a Guide of Souls.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, I think I would. Maybe that's wrong.
Yeah, probably. And also the 3 life, of course, is not nothing.
Here comes Bombardment. We saw that do a lot of work. Game 1. Follow-up is going to be the Sacred Foundry tapped and pass the turn back. 1 more life lost.
Yeah, and once again, Lauge has a second Sun Cleanser in hand, but once again now knows that he can't deploy that and he still expect to get the trigger. So yeah, Oscar's still free to use all his energy cards here.
5 mana up, and also now giving away there's a little bit of a black splash in this deck. What maybe there's going to be more Surveil lands if you were straight blue. Why is there black there? Now kind of thinking, going through the idea of maybe you've got Fatal Pushes, maybe you've got Fort Seizures, something along those lines. And then when a Sorin comes down, you're just like, oh no. There's a good chance that because they've been dotting around in the feature matches and split up in the top tables, they might not actually know what each other is on. So there's a chance that he doesn't actually know what is going on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. And he would see the Martyr, I think. And now maybe Lauge is piecing it together. And Oscar's just going to reveal his hand of, I think this is 6 cards?
I think it's 6 cards, so that's 18, right?
Yes, 18 life. Go to 33.
18 life. So Soren's only going to be able to do...
maybe just 5. Go to 30. Okay.
Is it 5 cards? It's slightly off camera for us, so we can't actually make it out either.
It also seems like Oscar has a. It's also kind of sad it's off camera because like would have. Oh,
we had it. We've got it. This isn't enough for a lethal attack this turn, though, right? Or at least a lethal flip, should we say?
Yeah, if you had attacked with the Solitude first, I don't think Lauge would have used like Chump did something and then used the Goblin Bombardment. Oh, but you can't attack first, of course, because that's not how Sorin works.
Would Sorin not flip now?
It's a post-combat main phase.
Oh, is it post? Okay,
Yes.
so I thought it was pre. All right, so this is going to get turned sideways. A little bit of a sticky wicket about how we want to block this.
Another thing you could have done is use the Extort ability on Sorin if you play that first to just gain a little bit more life here. But yes, we see. Okay, the Sun Cleanser just blocking here, not using the bombardment. This is 18 life now, so it's not quite lethal. But it is a lot.
How many cards? I'm really interested in how many cards were revealed.
I must have been 5, right? Oh, wait. There was a second Martyr in hand. So now you play the second Martyr, gain 12 more life, and then kill you. Okay, wow. Yeah, this hand being off screen is like, becoming more of a surprise to us of what actually is going on.
Slightly awkward, but still just as fun. You know what I mean? We literally saw
yes.
We did the thing.
It's like it's the third time we've seen this happen, and I'm just like giggling every time.
It's because you don't even expect it. You're playing like how would you sideboard for this matchup? Like, don't leave my removal spells in.
This game, turn 2 was brought back Solitude. Turn 3 ring, turn 4 ring, turn 5 kill you. Deal you like 37 damage.
Yeah, I want to play a bit of this deck. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I went this week, I am playing this through a league, and the deck list for everybody else. If you do want to play any of the decks that you see here going into day number 2 of this tournament, they will be going live once we get to that top 8. So make sure you stick around for that and watch that. We're only 2 rounds away, maybe a round and a half actually. One more round after this. You're going to be running around after once we come off the camera, finding out how the tiebreakers are working out. Is it a clean cut? Who's our winning ins? And we'll make sure we'll get them in the feature match area so we can go along with the players, see the joy in their faces if they do manage to get themselves into today's top 8, because they're playing for RC invites. They're playing for their share of 10,000 euros and a big ass trophy, and exclusively the art that you see on these playmats, the original art, one of one, is out there framed. It looks beautiful. The winner will be also walking away with that today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to figure out if I can see what the what's going on in the rest of the tournament here. So, so we indeed have 2 draws on table 1 and 2. So that is Thomas Monk on Amalia combo into the top 8. Rasmus Enegren on Glorious Vengeance. Narrowly missed top 8 last year, into the top 8 here. Magnus Brandt on Merfolk. Had all his other decks banned. Had to borrow a Merfolk deck just to participate.
Someone call Nikachu. Tell them there's a Merfolk deck in the top 8.
Draws into the top 8. And Eideka Ragnarstottir on Storm, on Ruby Storm, also drawing into the top 8. Incredible. We have on table 3, Elias Vatsfeld versus Lauge Tornstorm. We just watched Lauge win last round on camera against Lauge. They're still playing. We have David Kamstrup Larsen, one of the Danish Copenhagen boys.
Second I say Nikachu about Merfolk, he pops up in chat.
He has been summoned.
It is. So it is. As soon as I say Merfolk, he just pops out of nowhere. I love it. Hey mate, how you doing? Carry on.
So it seems like we actually don't have any results going on right now, but we have Johannes Alberud, one of the great Swedes, won GP Utrecht in 2019. He's playing against the Necro deck of Jakob Podubsky. So that's Blue Black Murktide against Mono Black Necro. And then we have Oscar Christensen. He's playing on a backup feature here against Per Jones. We just saw Per last round with his Junt deck. He's still playing. And the other Junt player into day 2 is Asger Thomsen. He's also still playing.
Still a bunch of players still live.
Exactly.
If they get wins this round and the next round, we could potentially see them in the top 8.
That's exactly right. They're 8-3-1 here in round 8, so they need to get to 10 wins. So that means they need to win this round and the next one. But Asger Thomsen is playing against fellow Dane Søren Neumann Hansen on Domain Zoo. And I think that's what we have here for the players.
Yep. All the players that ID'd this round got that handshake that they are basically locked for the top 8 now. Do they play the last round for standings?
So they could actually do it, but I think if they can pair against each other again and draw, they're gonna be on the play for most of the top 8, I think. Let's see. So there'd be 10-2. And then we would have people at, Yeah, so if all the 10-3s are drawing with each other,
Yep.
they're going to have a lower breaker. So it's only if there's a 10-3 player who has to play and then wins. That's the only person who can overtake them.
They all might as well just play anyway then.
Exactly, yeah. But it's very possible that like some of these players that've been at the top of standings, they can't play each other twice. And so if they're not all 4 paired against each other again, well,
they get paired down to the X ones that have to play anyway, and
exactly. Or they could shake hands with the X ones. But then some things might be be weird. But I think there's going to be a lot of handshakes next round, and then some X3 ones who are really fighting for it.
That's probably going to make you earn your money. Looks like we might be on a mode of 5 here, which isn't exactly what we want to do when we've got top 8 on the line. But we've got the 2 cards. We're putting them back to the bottom. We're going to be on the play, 5-card hand. Let's hope it's a good one.
Yeah, let's see how this goes. If Lauge can
utilize
a 5-card hand, it's a Surveil hand. Of course it is. Tried. And I see it's an unlicensed hearse. Lauge might have brought that in to stop the broadback.
It's like, how do you decide what it is? Like, you don't know what cards you're going to be bringing in for what. This is sick. This is one of the main things to bring these spicy decks to these tournaments.
I wonder if he still has Sunclancer in his deck, but of course there is still Wrath of God. So yeah, you might imagine that's still
Wrath
still
of
here.
God. All right, Boomer.
Well, okay, Wrath of the Skies.
There you go.
Okay, here, what can this Raptor hit? Like this is It can't hit a 3-drop anymore because there's no Aether Hub this time around. But it can hit.
It's a good one.
It can hit the best 1-drop in Modern. Maybe. Allegedly.
This is what Ben Simonson tells me all the time. He says that this card is the best 1-drop in Modern. If Deathright Shaman was legal, would you still say that?
I don't know. Deathright Shaman is like nothing anymore. Wow.
Jeez, give me some warning when you start throwing bombs around like that. My goodness, my friend. All right, Static Prison coming down. It's going to deal with that Guide of Souls, leaving just the Rapture on the battlefield, the 2-1 first striker. Draw a Fable for the turn. Do we have the 3rd land?
Seems like a no. It's actually, I want to point out the interesting deck building here of Oscar, because Static Prison is not a card we would normally see in, for instance, the Jeskai control decks. But Oscar is saying, well, I want all my cards to be white, and I'm playing Wrath of the Skies anyway. And Static Prison is actually, it seems like a Nunbo with Wrath of the Skies, but you just like let it die the turn you want to cast Wrath of the Skies. And then they get back whatever thing you took, and then you can wrath that up. So actually, the Static Prison can be like a way to gain your energy to fuel the wrath.
One thing I'm actually looking at, right, is there is only 4 Static Prisons and 4 Wrath of the Skies. That's the only way to gain energy in the deck.
Yes.
But with brought-backs...
Oh, true. You can let your Static Prison die and then get it back as well. Yeah, that's really nice. Especially if you, for instance, hit a token like a Goblin Shaman from Fable or something like that, a Construct token. You could just let the Static Prison die immediately, keep those 2 energy around, and then brought back to, get even more stuff. This thing is beautiful.
Hearst is going to stop a little bit of that shenanigans, though. Remember, it is on the battlefield now.
Yeah, of course. I'm just living in my dream world here.
That's basically where we have to live as casters, in dream world. If we say it, we believe it, it will appear.
It will manifest. And so, yeah, there's still a Surveil here. Despite missing the land drop here for Lauge, this Hirsch could like grow into a real threat, and so Oscar, of course, has to be concerned about that. But there's not. Oh no! Well, I think that was a land drawn there for Oscar. Surveil that right to the top. That's the play I was talking about. You can just let the Static Prison die, and now you can Wrath the Scouts for 2 on turn 3 because you have the Static Prison amping up your energy counts.
What would you like to exile? Okay, so your fetch land and your stack, and then it was all going to go boom, boom, boom. Now you've got to rebuild. You're already on 5 cards this game. Only 3 left in hand. We are missing land drops. It is not going well for our Boros Energy player.
Yes. Step number 1. Fetch a Plains and play a Bone Crusher Giant. Oh, Fable. There's a Fable, right?
Yep, there was a Fable in hand that was drawn last turn.
All right, so that helps a lot here, and at rebuilding a board here. Lauge's going to have to hope that there is not a ring coming down for Oscar here, because I don't think Lauge has the tools at the moment to really fight the ring.
Going to have to hope there's not a Blood Moon coming down. This is the one situation where we haven't had a bunch of basics.
Would be really good here.
Fable is going to be the 3-drop, though. Along comes Goblin Shaman token. Did you see the meme when this token was worth more than Tarmogoyf?
No, I did not see that meme.
This token went up to like $6 or $7, and Tarmogoyf was like free.
Oscar just drew a plane, so that the Blood Moon would not have been good.
But it's all good. That's why they played the Fable. It's big brain.
Yes.
What can we do with this 4 mana though? 3 mana being tapped. Teferi? Yeah, it's a very free coming down. And it is going to get rid of this token, get us 1 card deeper. And now we got a nice static ability that everyone enjoys playing into.
I think I'll retract what I said earlier about Teferi not being good in the matchup. The ability to bounce tokens, like for a Fable, for instance, is really nice. And it actually stops Amp Raptor.
Oh, yeah, it does stop Amp Raptor as well. We drew the Bone Crusher Giant for the turn, I think.
A second, you already had one in hand, I think.
Okay, maybe it wasn't that what we drew then.
Now we got to figure out what to discard here. I think there's a Lightning Bolt and a Static Prison and a Bone Crusher Giant, maybe? That's my guess.
I don't want to use any of these. Lightning Bolt and Oscar's Pride.
Okay, so interesting. Doesn't want any of those. There's also an Arena of Glory in play, so you can haste up that Bone Crusher if you wanted to.
I feel we want a Flage, right? I think that's where we're at. But here comes the Stomp ability. So it's going to go on a little adventure. 4th land.
Oh, there's no Flage. It's just a second Arena of Glory.
Yeah, rough.
Yeah, quite rough indeed. But at least the Teferi is gone now, and maybe there is a Flage. Maybe it's on top of the deck after you fetch, and you can surveil that right into the graveyard. That would be a huge help for Lauge's positioning here. Running out of cards, and Oscar has this Monumental Henge in play, which...
Dude, the game could just be over. Every time I see this card cast, I'm like, is the game now over?
Well, I don't think Oscar has a number of cards in hand here. It's actually not just a 2-card combo, it's more like a 3-card combo, where you do need the ring to get enough card density in hand.
Yeah, what doesn't the ring do at this point? How much are we going to see it? Are we going to see the Flage into the graveyard this turn, though? Are you calling it? What's it, like a 1 in...
It's a
1 in 30 chance or something?
1 in 30? No, it's like there's 4 in like 40 cards. It's like 1 in 10.
1 in 10?
Yeah.
Right. You calling it?
It's like a critical hit, but even double the odds. Whoa.
No, Aether Hub is not going to be it. Okay.
That's not good enough.
Card drawn for turn. Was that another Aether Hub?
Yeah, it's another Aether Hub. No, yeah. They always come in 3s. Is that what they say?
Hasty Bone Crusher time, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's a chump blocking Martyr then, so doesn't accomplish that much, but might as well do it, because you have a second Arena of Glory anyway.
The only difference, but so you've got the second one. You could put the Giganta in hand if you want to, but like, I think I need to get damage down ASAP. I don't know how long I've got left in this game. It looks like we are going to use this arena, and we are going to get this Bone Crusher on the battlefield. So now we've got the 4/3 with haste. Turn it sideways. Little jumpy jump.
All right, well, maybe get to see what Oscar has in hand, or maybe it's going to be off screen again. Let's see.
I think I see
3
brought-backs and a Wrath of the Skies. One of them you don't want to see, but the others. So what are we going to do? We fetch and we bring that back and the land? Okay.
Yes. So, this Martyr is, it's going to come back and it's going to come back. But honestly, if I'm Lauge here, it's a little bit of a relief. Like, this game is going to go super, super long, but you have a Fable out. And so, as long as Oscar, keeps drawing more of these non-impactful cards, essentially, brought back is not gaining him value right now. And that's really important. It's getting him life and, a land, and those things are good. Of course, it's going to enable the Monumental Henge to start being activated. But if Lauge can ride this Fable, it might be pretty nice. Of course, Oscar can also sweep the board, so yeah, maybe the Fable is not long for this world.
We have some Oscar fans, giving us some help in chat right now. Everyone kind of wants to see this Martyr deck do its thing, see it get into the top 8. Definitely need to start off with a win for that to happen. Here comes the mark and the fetch land back into play because of that brought back. Get it to untap. After gaining a bunch of life as well, which is just something to knock on, turn our nose up to. Gaining loads of life against these Boros decks, they don't have any other way to win besides turning things sideways. So the more life we can gain, the more turns we'll be able to get.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that's a bit of an understatement because, Oscar just drew the ring. Well, that's, as I said, that's part of the combo here. So, yeah, doesn't have to clean up the Fable just yet, can just start getting this ring going. And actually has the opportunity to Martyr again and then brought back it again if you so wish. There's just another land for Lauge here, so...
Giganta time.
Yeah, it's Giganta time, and it's probably Fable copying Bone Crusher time.
Well, they got protection, there's no point, right?
Oh, right. Well, I mean...
Unless you can
you
copy Stomp.
You copied end of turn, I guess.
Land, go. We're all out of surveils? Yeah, we've used both our surveils on the other side. End of turn, crack 2 lands.
Gonna pay some costly life points here, going down to 26, all the way down, and probably going all the way up again here. gonna be able to. Yeah, there's still 3 white spells in hand, right? So that's 9 life coming Oscar's way if he so wishes. He could also like hold off on it. I don't think that's unreasonable.
We're going to get the shock, but it's coming to play tap. So, later on, if we draw it, we don't need to use any life for it. Might as well get the value while we can. We still got the 2 planes open we need for brought back, which you can only imagine is going to happen here. But actually, we don't have the land to get the Martyr back then, right? Because if it came into play tap.
Yeah, it seems like everything is tapped here. So I'm actually a little bit confused about what's going on. Yeah, okay. It feels like Oscar could have just shocked there and been able to get back the Martyr, but
Solitude.
but there's still a ring going and there's still a sweeper coming, and so maybe like doesn't matter that much.
That's a Sorin off the top as well.
Sorin, yeah. So Oscar still has a couple more Martyrs left in his deck, and as long as this ring keeps going, like you can build up to watch that combo kill finish.
So we're just sorting out our land, how we want to do it. Like, do we want to discard a white card for the Solitude to then bring it back to get 2 targets?
I think you want to just Wrath of the Skies and activate your Monumental Henge.
Henge is 4 mana to activate, right?
Yeah, so you need to have a land drop as well on top of that. You could also like Wrath of the Skies here, just for this is actually equals 4. Sure, are left with a leftover energy. That's unclear. I think.
So Raffin for 4 here would give us an extra energy. Leaves us down to 2. Board is dealt with, though. Gigana is in hand. We know the other card is an Arena of Glory, plus the one on the battlefield also comes to play untapped. So we might see a big 5/5 Elk getting turned sideways momentarily, but that's not enough when my opponent's at 34.
No, and Oscar can now do the play with Solitude and brought back if he wishes. He can also like just take the 5. Like nothing really matters that much at this point. For the next few turns, like Lauge needs like not just this Elk, but also a Flage. I think like honestly from Oscar's perspective, I don't think I even want to waste a Solitude on the Gigantha here, because the like only really scary card is Flage.
Land, and that's 3 lands in a row off the top. It's not what we want, but you're going to do what we're going to do. Here's the Elk, throw it onto the battlefield, turn it sideways, get that 5 points of damage in while we can. But we're going to say, no, Solitude that out of it. Get it. Don't want you to have it anymore. You can have the 5 life instead. To get taking us up to 22. Solitude will go to the graveyard. We know about that 1 more brought back left in hand.
Yeah, you might as well bring back the Solitude, I think. Like, just padding your life total a little bit, but it could also wait. Like, you could have, once you draw the Martyr here, the brought back is going to combo with that Sorin. Like, you can play Martyr, gain the life, do that again, and then, like, you don't need to reveal, like, 8 cards in hand to deal 24 damage with Sorin. You can like, reveal 5 cards and then 4 cards, and that's going to be good enough.
Don't even worry. Just straight up, it's like draw my card for turn, tap my ring straight away. There was not even a thought in it. It's just need all these cards in my hand. I need them now. This
is how Oscar's deck is designed. Now you can like bounce the ring if you wanted to, if you don't want to take too much damage. But yeah, it's like it might not even be necessary to do that at this point. I think like Oscar might just want to make sure that there's like a Solitude stake somewhere so that you can deal with the Flage, but. I mean, even if there's a Flage, the Arena of Glory is tapped now. At least one of the... maybe there was never a second.
The other's in hand, I believe.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so from Oscar's perspective, it looks like there's no way to haste up a Flage here, but it's actually exactly enough mana to play on Flashback Flage, which is 15 damage. Which is just 15 damage.
Just the 15.
Yeah. So
against the 32.
Not even half of Oscar's life total.
That was is that Galvanic Discharge, I think?
I think that was Galvanic Discharge. You can take out the Teferi here. You're probably supposed to do that, but man,
you're not winning the game that way, really.
Yeah, it's just delaying the inevitable. And there's also this Monumental Henge that can be activated, potentially. We see Oscar thin out the deck here a little bit. There's still more planes left to get, I think, or an island at least. Sure, yeah. That's a nice island. The classical M12 artwork.
So you get the islands. That is the only other non-basic in the deck. Tap 5 mana. Henge. Let's have a look at the top 4, is it? Or top 5, and you get to put a legendary in hand.
Top 5, yeah. Takes a Teferi into hand. And yeah, gonna take a little bit of damage from that ring, but you can just keep it going up. And again, as soon as Oscar finds a Martyr here, it's probably lethal. Of course, Lauge does have this Galvanic Discharge ready to kill Sorin. And so Oscar has to make sure he doesn't use all of his broadbacks in order to gain the amount of life he needs. But
is there any scope for like just hard casting the Sorin and just start using the Exalt ability just to get a little bit incremental? Or are we
you can
exposing it too
probably
much?
do that as well, but like, what's the fun in that?
Oh, well, it looks like
there's a Martyr that right there. We see a Sorin and
can't interact because Teferi's on the battlefield.
Oh yeah, you can't even do
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Handshake.
21 damage after extorting with the Sorin, and that is good enough. Yeah. Flip the Sorin, 21 to you. This deck is
cool. It's cool.
It's not just cool, it is potentially in our top 8.
So the next round, winning ins, we'll find out who's in it. Pass it off to Joel, pass it off to Andreas. That is it for me. That is Simon. See you guys later on.